Okay. Okay, so Altonia, you're welcome. So welcome, Joyce. Welcome, Mike. Welcome, Sayantan. Good to see you here. Here's Daniel.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not able to click onto accepting the recording, so I think I'm going to have to leave the meeting and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
There's Ann. Welcome, Daniel. Oh, Daniel's still connecting. Okay, here's Gabby. Hey, Gabby, welcome.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Sayantan.
Hi, Anne.
Do I still look tired, Sayantan?
What time is it where you are doing?
It's 9:59 a.m.
Oh,
No excuse, Dwayne.
Hi, what time is it where you are?
Oh, Cyan Tom.
yeah, it's 10:30 p.m.
Ah, that's late.
That's late. Thank you for joining us even so late in the day.
Okay, here's John. Okay, I have the top of the hour. Altonia, are you ready?
No.
No?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm just kidding.
All right. You have me worried there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. And thank you for joining us for our continued quest to building a culture of empathy. We are recording this for educational and promotional purposes. We would like to do a quick round of check-ins. You'll have 30 seconds to share any questions, comments that you might have from the last session, or talk about your buddy call, or share anything about facilitating an empathy circle this week. I'm going to call on people. You guys are all at the top of my screen, so I literally have to go one by one. So bear with me, please. Okay. Who shows up first? Joyce.
Joyce, did you say Joyce?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I am Joyce, and I'm a little behind on all of my homework because we're visiting my family in California, but we made it here anyway.
Thank you. Enjoy the sunshine out there. Cyanton.
I'll go without the timer. So I had this amazing call with Dwayne, buddy call last week, where it was very nice exploring different social contexts and how life experiences can play into empathy, and that was like really mind blowing. So that was one very interesting buddy call. I also had amazing buddy call with Leslie and Katie. So I'll connect with Alex this week hopefully. So, but that's been my week. So thank you.
Cool beans. Mike.
Oh, hi. I had a buddy call with Dwayne. We talked for an hour and could have gone on further probably.
Thank you, Mike. Maria, Gabby. Gabby.
I don't think she heard you. Oh, there she is.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm back. So, okay, I just had a quick body call with Celine before attending the training, and I feel so connected and present. So I want to thank you, Celine, for finding the time and celebrating our connection. Thank you.
Thank you. John.
Hello, I had a good week, busy week, much like Joyce. I guess life is getting in the way of too much, not leaving a lot of room for much else with all the things that are going on with our upcoming move and travel coming back. But I did have a chance to connect with my buddy Marley for an hour. We had a great conversation. Extending well beyond empathy circles and just set the groundwork for an opportunity to connect. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful for my cohort and to be wrapping up this program.
Thank you. Soraya.
Oh, hello, everyone. I'm just marveling at hearing other people's check-ins so far, like about how we can grow and our consciousness, our awareness expands when we can be connected in a safe way. It's just, it still stuns me. I'm still trying to get used to it and believe it. And the week for me is just like 2 seconds long. I have some vague memory of seeing something come across about buddy calls, and that was the last I even thought of it. It just, life is way full for me. So, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have the texturalizing of this training in me. So, thanks.
Thank you. You guys are jumping around, so please be patient with me. Lisa.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm eating. So I had a really great buddy call with Altanya, and I look forward to connecting with her again. So yeah.
Thank you. Katie.
Yeah, so after some of the thoughts I was sharing in the Empathy Circle's last training, I had Dwayne and Cyanton reach out to me and offer a listening ear for some of the things that I might have wanted to be talking about. So I took both of them up on that, and I'm really, really grateful for them.
Jeez. Oh, yeah, jumping around again. Wait. Jen.
Yeah, I was not able to do a buddy call this week. It's been a really busy week, and I just got back from a 4-day training on somatics. And so, the study of the body and, communication and all the things, all the factors that contribute to our personhood being in a body. And so it would be profound and wonderful. And yeah, I think that integrating this empathy work with somatics is especially clarifying for me.
Oh, very
Yeah.
interesting. Thank you.
Mhm.
Marley.
Hi, everyone. It's really nice to be here. Had some great empathy calls over the last couple weeks. Just long and winding, good conversations, and excited to be here. So that's all.
Thank you. Daniel.
Hi, sorry I'm a little bit late. I was just getting text messages from my daughter who just had her 4th child.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so I got a little distracted. Anyway, I did have a buddy call with Isa, which went very well. She had me do some training, practicing, and we were challenged technologically a little bit. So that gave me a little bit of a challenge.
Thank you. Marissa.
Hi. I was unable to connect for a buddy call this week. I did reach out, but now in retrospect, I'm wondering if I might have gotten the wrong email or something like that. But we had a busy week as we're getting ready to transition back to the US. So, but yeah, looking forward to this final training today.
Yeah. Did I get all of the participants? You guys are jumping around on my screen. I think I got everybody. Do we have time for the facilitators, Bill?
Yeah, we should. Yes.
Okie dokie. Who is first on my screen? Celine.
Well, I was able to have a buddy call with Gabi this morning, which was really sweet. And I did my last Empathy Circle in Espanol from the training I've been doing. So I'm going to be on vacation after today for a while. That feels good. And I'm glad to be here with you today. That's it.
Thank you, Celine. Safe travels. Bill.
Yeah, I didn't have a buddy call this week. I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied. Had to go in for a checkup and everything turned out to be okay. So I'm very happy about that. I'm kind of relaxing.
Yay.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm just really excited. Great to see you here. And also very excited about, the empathy movement and building a culture because for those participants, the production team just came together. This is the first time we've put it on without Edwin. And by using the principles of a culture of empathy, there was no friction, just support, and we did it. And so I'm very excited. And, this is proof of concept of what an empathic culture would be like. Thanks.
Thank you very much for that, Bill. Dwayne.
See. Hello, everyone. I had a very interesting, enjoyable buddy call with Mike. Had a very enjoyable call with Katie. I had a really enjoyable call with Cyan. That was a marathon call, by the way. And interesting, I had a call with Dr. Lisa, and hopefully she's cured me. And I'm just really enjoying this experience and happy to be part of this team. And also again want to show appreciation for you, those of you who are going through the facilitation training for the first time, and my appreciation of all the skills that you bring with you to this team. And so again, thank you all for being here, and thank all the other team members who have been helping with the training.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Oh, sweet.
Larry, you're up next.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Glad to see you all. I'm looking forward to a buddy call with Jen. She's been at a 4-day conference. I really want to hear more about that. And let's just celebrate. Yay.
Yay. Issa, you're up next.
Hello, everyone. I had a good weekend. I had a body call with Daniel Wolf, and it was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you, Issa. And your turn.
Yeah, I've been sleeping and living in a tent for the last week. So I've not done online buddy calls, but I did manage to do 2 small empathy cafes, which went really well, and really good connections happening there. And I look forward to having buddy calls with you in the coming couple of weeks, I hope, with lots of you. And I made this here, and I've been walking around wearing this and talking to lots of people I've never met before, and listening and having conversations around this topic.
Love it, love it. Thanks, Ann. Did I get everyone? Am I the only one left? Okay. I had a buddy call with Lisa. I love the conversation, and I can't wait to continue having a conversation with her about incorporating the empathy process with the family action planning process. I did a small empathy circle yesterday at church. And starting next month, hopefully, we're going to be holding a restorative process series. So over a course of 4 weekends, we're going to have not just empathy circles, but porch circles and a resource fair. So I'm hoping we can actually get that together by next month. So that's the target anyway. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your experiences. I'll pass it on to, who's next? Is that Larry? Issa and Larry?
Yeah, Issa and Larry would answer the questions that came in. The question that came in this last week was about using Zoom for breakout rooms, and we probably won't cover that technical topic. What I will paste a link to a Zoom tutorial on that. And are there any other questions that anyone has for the trainers or anyone? Are there any questions now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, my question is, I believe that I thought that Lou had the list of topics, but I believe I had an email from him, and I think he might have said, Bill, do you have a list of topics that we can use for empathy circles?
A list of topics, not right at my fingertips right now, but we can, we can scare that up for you.
Oh, well, I'm making one of my own, but it would be nice to have those too. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. Great question. So I think in our topics today for today's circle will be about looking at the values that have come up, and how do your own personal values impact and play into the empathy training. I think Bill will clarify that. I think that's it for our questions.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then we go to Isa for the breakout room description.
Yes. So this is just an empathy circle. This circle is for integrating your experiences and your learnings, also for harvesting feedback about the benefits of the training. We'd also like to hear what you will do in the future with Empathy Circle practice and training. And we will post some topics to consider in the chat room. What are your most valuable learnings and benefits from this training? Or what are your next steps with applying empathy circles and building a culture of empathy, or whatever is alive for you? And the turns will be 4 to 5 minutes. So we will go until 15 minutes to the top of the hour. So we have a 45-minute debrief. You will get a 10-minute warning before the end. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to open up the breakout rooms, and then some of you will be here with me in the main room. So here you go.
So we're the ones in the main room?
Yeah, that should be it. Yeah, Isa should be going to another room. Let me just see if.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
Okay, all right, Celine's in there as well, so she can then start it. Okay, here, let me get the topic again.
Hey, Bill, is it possible that we not record this circle in the main room?
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm doing the tech too, so I'm a little bit, okay. Let's see. And so who did not, Marley, was that you? You don't want to be recorded?
Yeah, I'd prefer not to.
Okay, so what I will do is, because I can go, is that I will, let's see if I can, I will move Jen into here and I'll move you into room 1. And then you'll be in a room that won't be recorded. Okay. All right, there are 3 of us here. Hopefully Jen will come in. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. All right. Hi, Jen. Sorry to flip you around like that. Hope you don't have any whiplash.
I'm good. I'm here.
Okay. The reason we did that is that this room is being recorded, and I believe Marley did not want to be recorded.
Okay.
And so, anyway, so is it okay if do you feel okay with that if it's recorded?
I do feel okay with that. Yeah.
Okay, great. And everybody else is okay with that? Okay, great. All right, thanks. Sort of, at least kind of on the fence there. Okay. Seriously, do you have, I can switch you out with someone else, Lisa, if you have any fruit.
No, it's perfectly fine.
Okay, great. All right. All right. So first of all, I want to ask if somebody wants to facilitate. This is a chance to actually get some practical. We won't split it up. If you facilitate this whole breakout room. You do the time and just take it away and we start. Everybody knows how. So is there anyone else who would like to do, besides me, not named Bill, who would like to do that? No? Okay, then I'll facilitate if for some reason. Okay, great. All right, who would like to be the first speaker? Again, the topic, what are your most valuable learnings and benefits from this training? What are your next steps? Applying the empathy circles and building a culture of empathy. We're talking about the empathy movement as well. sort of like that the movement gets us to the culture, or whatever is alive for you. So I invite someone to be the first speaker, pick a listener, and off we go.
Bill, just 1 sec. Would you mind pasting the questions here in the chat? So
You
you'll
want the topic pasted again?
Yes,
Sure.
I can see it here.
Sure. Hold on. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see if oops. Yeah, that should do it. All right. Do you see it now?
That's one. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. All right. So, first speaker. Whoops.
Where'd she go?
All right. Oh, here she's back. Good. Oh, good. I had to dive into my screen to rescue you there, Lisa. Okay, who would like to be the first speaker?
I guess I'll go first.
Great.
And let's see, Lisa, would you be my listener, please?
Sure. I'm also working on my Wi-Fi just in case I lose connection. So.
Sure.
Okay. Great. All right, and Bill, your timing, I don't need to time.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Thanks. I volunteered to go first. I have no idea what I want to say, so this is just very free form. And yeah, I'm just feeling grateful to be here and to have this space.
So I hear you saying that you're volunteering, so you're not sure what exactly you're going to say, but you really appreciate the space that you get to share.
Yeah. As far as, let's see, most valuable learnings and benefits from the training. Wow. I guess, I will speak about that and what's alive for me at this moment. After having come back for a day training, it's called embodied transformation. I feel like that training and this training go so well together, and how, the learnings are similar.
Okay. And I apologize, but my internet was breaking up. But I did hear that the somatic training you went to and the empathy training go well together. And so that's the part I heard. Would you like to repeat that first part that I missed?
Oh, I was just saying that, the lessons or the learnings and benefits from the training are similar in both. That's pretty much what I said. So you got it. I really understand how important being present is to building a culture of empathy, and being present really requires something in the body as well. Like, are you having a hard time hearing?
I'm so sorry. I tried to switch over to my mobile. And so I switched back to the other internet, and my phone wanted to update. I'm so sorry to interrupt your time.
That's okay. I'm wondering if it has something to do with this. Maybe it would sound, let me just try it. Okay. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Oh, yes.
Is that better? So maybe it's this, maybe it's the headphones. But anyway, okay. So I was saying about the capacity to be really present for empathy circles, I feel is so related to the capacity to be really in your body and understanding the things that might constrict us or constrain us. Very present could be happening through the body. That makes sense.
So I heard that, during the empathy circles, being present in the moment is very similar to, what's happening in the body and being present in the moment. And something to the effect of like constricting, like feeling there can be some constriction that gets in the way. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, that's right. And that, you know, the constriction in the brain and in the body could be matching, you know, so that and it could be getting in the way of our presence.
And so you're specifically saying in the body, when we have some level of constriction, it keeps us from being in the present moment.
Yeah, those are some of the things that I'm kind of tuning into lately. And I think for me, there's been, you know, like a form of anxiety that I've carried, whether that's in my body or my mind or both, but really good to be working with that anxiety to, you know, transform that into a bigger or a not a bigger presence, but just a more sharpened focus.
And so you found that you have carried some anxiety, whether it's in your body or otherwise, and really being present has been beneficial for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to be able to, you know, get to the root of what that anxiety is, so that it can, getting to the root of it so that it no longer has a hold on me.
And so being present has helped you to get to that root of that anxiety, to really be present in the moment.
Yeah. And so I feel like it's touching into the self empathy. You know, we can have more empathy for others when we have it for ourselves. And so I'm tapping into how important it is to work through as an individual, you know, my own or our own stuff to be more present and for others.
And so this has illuminated not only the benefit of being empathetic to other people, but also having self-empathy, because that really allowed you to be present and connect at a deeper level.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. Gabby, would you be my listener?
I'd be glad to. Yeah.
Awesome. Ooh, so technology is going to be an interesting thing, especially because like I'm 100% virtual. And so there's always going to be those glitches. And so having backup plans can be super helpful.
So you're saying that technology, it's your thing, that you work a lot of with technology, and you're acknowledging the challenges that you might have using it.
Yeah, usually it's not that big of an issue. But one thing I do notice is when those issues do arise, they tend to be very big.
And usually it's not a big issue, but sometimes it becomes an issue, and it's important having a plan B.
Yeah. And so one thing I can really speak to is I connect with what Jen is saying, because I tend to be more anxiety prone as well. And I found that present moment has really been key for me as well.
So you're relating to what Jen just said about anxiety and feeling anxious, and also acknowledging the importance of being present in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a key piece of empathy. It's like almost the underlying factor. If you're not truly tuning into what someone else is saying in that present moment, then you've completely missed the message.
So, yeah, in your opinion, the key factor for an empathy conversation is being present. So you allow yourself to connect with the other.
Yeah. And even it kind of tunes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the training, that, you know, connecting with others is also a beautiful process of connecting deeper with yourself.
And you remembering about a thing you said in the beginning of the training, that connecting with another people, another person. It's a way of connecting with yourself.
Yeah, I meet with couples a lot of times, and they'll be like, just focus on what they want to say to the other person. And it's like, there can be so much more depth in what you say if you first listened.
So yeah, I hear you saying that if you listen, being with empathy and being present, you can catch some things that is way behind the words that the person is saying.
Yeah. And so this is my second time in the training, and I really appreciate the depth that comes with the second time, because the first time I did find myself highly anxious and all about like trying to get it right.
So it's your second time being here in the training, and you're comparing the first time with the second time, that the first time you were feeling anxious, and now the second time you can navigate deeper on the training and on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I really feel like there was a lot of relationships that were built and hopefully continuing to be built through this process.
Yeah, one of the factors is building relationships with people that are participating in the training that allows the depth of the training.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think a key word that consistently came up, especially in the first couple of training or first couple of groups, was safety. And so I think that was a key factor that stood out for me. Like, I want people to feel safe with me, and the environment needs to be safe as well.
So one of the key words that came up during the empathy circles that we've done, and also for you today, is safety, that you want people to feel safe to be themselves with you. And that's allow the connection, and you feel this, I guess you feel the safety here also.
I don't remember the other questions that were posed. But I feel like that might be my time. So I'm going to say I feel completely heard. Maybe it wasn't my time, though.
No, you're good.
Close enough.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you were taking a time to remember about the questions and investigate if you have anything else to say. And you said that your time is up and you feel fully heard. Okay, so lastly, I haven't had the opportunity to speak with you. So would you mind being my listener?
Happy to.
Thank you. So yeah, before saying anything about the topic, I would like to say what is alive for me in the right moment.
So before you speak to the topic, you're sort of settling in and wanting to bring forth what's alive for you.
Yes, thank you. And I am acknowledging the importance of having a safe space at home to participate in the training.
So starting with having safe space at home to be able to come to this training.
Yes, because the last session I was in another city with my parents in the same room, with bad internet connection, with a cell phone. And now that I am at home, in my space, I could prepare first.
So feeling like the difference between being in a different space with other people around you and not having a stable like technology connection, and just feeling into now the comfort and what it feels like to be in your own space.
Yes, and also reminds me the importance of resting and taking some minutes for myself. Yeah.
And this reminds you of how vital it is to just come back into yourself, just to have quiet and rest and to be able to come back to yourself.
Yes, and how powerful it is being here in the empathy circle, how easy and fast it is to bring my attention to the present moment and to feel connected.
So noting that in the context of the empathy circle, like your ability to bring your attention and to be present, like happens
it sounds like much more quickly than other settings.
Yes, and one of the reasons I think is that we speak what is important to us, and we have the opportunity to listen and to be heard. So this sensation of being heard and also listening is I can't find a word.
Yes. So like just noticing what a different and distinct experience it is in the empathy circle to really have the chance to be listened to and to really feel heard. And it's beyond description as an experience. Yes.
You, Leslie. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And and I ask myself, how can I create this safe space and with some similar energy also with people around me here in person during my daily life.
And so you begin to wonder, like translating this into day-to-day life, like how to recreate that kind of safety and that kind of really present experience with people.
Yeah, when we have busy schedules, works, and stress, anxiety during the day, what strategy can I use to bring my attention to the present moment so I can create also this space for myself and other people?
Mm-hmm. So you're wondering to yourself and wanting to find a way to like bring this kind of experience into day-to-day life where there's, you know, stresses and you just a lot of demands on you, and wanting to be able to give yourself and others as well like the opportunity to really be in this place.
And also, if you feel like, I would like to hear from you. If you have also, what do you do during your daily lives also? If you feel like speaking, to bring your thing, maybe we can share what do you do to bring your attention to the present moment.
And so you're really curious to hear from others about what people do to bring their attention and their awareness to the present.
Thank you, Leslie. If you completely fully heard, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Gabby. So let's see. Jen, would you listen?
Yes, I'd love to.
Hi, thank you.
Awesome.
So first, very aware that I came into this once you had begun, and my apologies for coming in late to the circle, but thank you, Bill, for smoothly bringing me in.
So Leslie, I hear you saying that that you're sorry for coming in late, and but thanking Bill for and us for welcoming you in and getting you in here smoothly.
Yes, yeah. I came in actually in the midst of when you were speaking, Jen, and you were talking about something that immediately resonated for me and really captured my attention, which was the embodiment piece.
Mm-hmm. So when you came in the middle while I was speaking, and what I was saying caught your attention immediately about embodiment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm finding that, and maybe this some way brings in what Gabby was saying as well. Yeah, I'm finding these last weeks since I've rejoined the training, simultaneously also picking up practices that I haven't had so much in my life that are more embodied practice, like a yoga practice, and just walking, just as it's becoming beautiful here in the Northeast, you know, just being outside. And I'm just curious about this whole part of our conversation today, about embodiment and presence, and then the relating we do and connections, but in particular in the empathy practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you are reflecting on the last few weeks being in the training and also simultaneously reconnecting with some embodiment practices that you have, that you learned previously, like yoga, and you've been walking also. And that's been allowing you to really notice the importance of being embodied and being in the present moment.
Mhm, mhm. And I think Dr. Lisa said something about, there's a difference. I think you were speaking to about an empathy circle practice, like really being present with yourself and the kind of holding of the space and just empathic connection that you can establish, as opposed to like maybe kind of being here from here up, and or just like just not as present, right? Like and maybe you're listening but not hearing. I'll pause.
Mm-hmm. So something that Dr. Lisa said sparked your thoughts around really being present and maybe not being fully present, like you might just be hearing part of the message, because really you're just present from your head and maybe not the whole body.
Yeah, and I'm even curious to go a little bit further here. Like I'm wondering, is it? Yeah, it is. You are hearing part of a message because you're hearing with part of yourself. And I definitely have had experiences. I've been in a few trainings in the past, and just in my personal experiences where it is more a heady thing. It's like I'm hearing and I'm reflecting a message, but it's not the same as really holding someone with all of me.
Yeah. So you're speaking to that, to the difference between an empathic connection and holding all of the, maybe the complexities or the, just the wholeness of the person, as opposed to like the heady conversations that we get into in daily life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that it's, we're talking about embodiment, and we're talking about sort of the heady experience that, that I know I have had. And, we're talking about empathy. So it's heart. And so, really like compassion, like feeling with, being with someone. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to, I guess, make sense of this as we're unfolding it.
Yeah, I really hear you making sense of the experience of empathic listening and really being with somebody and being with a conversation between people, and yeah, like what I'm getting is like not like a diffuse experience, like a diffusion of it, but just like a really coming together to really I guess feel each other's heart.
Thank you for that, for what you just added to that. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. All right, so Bill, would you be my listener, please?
I'd be happy to.
Great. Yeah, I'm so much appreciating this conversation. And I love how in an empathy circle, it ends up being a conversation, although
each of us as an individual speaking what's alive for us or trying to answer questions. But I love that we, within an empathy circle, can build on each other's ideas. There somehow seems to be a cohesion that happens where we're working together to really get to the get to the heart of matters.
Yeah, so you're really enjoying this process. And what you're pointing out is that even though it's structured and it's not like a regular conversation, nevertheless, people listen to each other and sort of a conversation or a group, communication does occur.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, I really want to respond to what Gabby was saying about like, how do we cultivate this embodied practice? And I think it's interesting, like we can make an empathy circle be an embodied practice by paying attention, to ourselves and our sensations that are happening in our bodies and speaking about that. But it could also just be that we're we're finding, I don't know, it's funny because now I'm starting to get heady about it. That's what I'm finding.
So you were talking about how the feeling you get in an empathy circle and trying to embody that in things that are outside of the empathy circle process. And you're kind of, not struggling, but juggling with, how does that happen? How do you integrate that into your life?
Yeah. Yes. So I think, okay, the connection I'm trying to make in my thoughts and in the present is that to be really embodied, I need to know what is alive for me or what's important for me. So what's alive for me and what's important for me could be not in alignment with each other, right? So just getting present to, what's important to me, what's my focus? And then, but where am I at right now? And seeing like, where does my body feel in relation to what's important to me? And can I make that be here in the present moment?
So,
if that makes sense.
Sure, I'll try and correct me if I'm wrong. And so essentially you're talking about, what I'm feeling is that you're talking about integrating this whole process and so you've broken those things down at this particular point into what's important to you, this goal, which I would think would be a little bit more heady, but then also how you're feeling at the moment, and integrating those two things. And so you feel in order to really be present, you have to include both of those things, what's important and also how you're feeling. And then you're kind of juggling again, how to integrate them.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. And so in the training that I just had, in the somatic training, we worked on making a declaration for ourselves. And the declaration starts with, I am a commitment to, and, basically each person has to find that. And I'm just going to go ahead and speak what my declaration is. Because that, I feel, is what is informing my day-to-day life and my moment-to-moment day. So I am a commitment to embodying my power and speaking and leading. Oh, hang on, I forgot one part of it. I am a commitment to embodying my power in connection with my loving lineage. Speaking and leading with clarity and purpose.
Okay, so I might have missed some, so correct me, because this is very important, I can tell. And so you were talking in your somatic training, they were talking about what you are committed to, what you really feel and committed to. And you are committed to your power and also expressing that in a loving and I guess community building sort of way, in other words, support for others. Did I get the gist of that, or please correct me?
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Yes. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Thank you.
Okay, sure. I'll talk to Dr. Lisa.
Yes, I'm listening.
So I was a special education teacher dealing with severely emotionally disturbed students, and frequently they could become violent. And so I had assistants, and I worked with as a team, wonderful assistants and a wonderful team. I couldn't have done it alone. I'll stop there.
And so you said that you were a teacher working with the emotionally disturbed individuals, and they could become violent. And so in order to aid you with that, you had wonderful assistance that was of great benefit to you.
Right. And so frequently I had to ask the assistants to handle some very, difficult and abusive children where they actually might be physically abused or attacked. I'll stop there.
And so you're reflecting on the times where you had to ask the assistants to aid with abusive individuals who may have physically and I think maybe verbally attacked the assistant.
Yeah, no, there's some great ones, some of my favorites, but I won't go into that right now. And so, and so obviously just looking, if I said to any one of you, oh, handle this child who's going to spit and kick and try to gouge out your eyes or something like that, you'd say, later, Bill. I'll stop there.
And so right now you were reflecting on that there's many examples you could pull out, but you're not going to do that right now. And that if you were to ask us to basically put ourselves in harm's way, we may kind of put our hands up and say we're okay.
Yeah, exactly. So in other words, to form a cohesive team, it couldn't be my authority that simply did that. There were two things. Number one, I had to demonstrate that I was willing to do anything that I was asking other people to do. They had to be assured that I would be doing that as well. And number two, we had to come together as a common goal. And the common goal we had, the authority, was the best thing for the child. And so keeping that child safe, then I could make a viable case. And, I could ask my assistants to do those things when I couldn't. I'll stop there.
So there were a couple of components that were helpful to create this team environment where they felt comfortable enough doing that. One piece was was that you were willing to basically do the things that they were willing to do. So leading by example. A second component was that the reason why y'all were doing the things you were doing was to ultimately the best for the student and to keep them safe. And I don't know if I'm capturing everything.
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. And so so that was an important lesson for me. In other words, the authority wasn't me, but it was our shared goal. And so, so I wasn't imposing my authority, but we had agreed on this goal that they had freely agreed to. And so then, we then cooperated towards the goal. I'll stop there.
And so you're pointing out that the reason why this worked so nicely was that you didn't come in as a tyrant, but you kind of worked with your team to create a goal that you were all headed towards. And as long as you kept that main goal in mind, then that kept the ship moving forward.
Right. Despite my personality flaws. So, And so what I found, because this is the first training that we've done put together without Edwin while he runs for Congress, and the same thing happened here. The shared goal was to build a training, to put together a training, a facilitation training, so others could then build a culture of empathy. And we were, met much. You started just like you have. I hope to see you as part of the production team, some of you or whatever, or all of you in the future. But that was the goal. So people who didn't know each other, who've only met, very few of us have met in person. We had a very short, amount of training, put together an extremely cohesive team. And my time is up, but what that showed me was proof of concept of an empathic culture. When we hold those values, care, empathy, mutuality, and openness, and whatever, things work. It can be effective. I'll stop there.
So you're acknowledging the fact that, similar to the team where you had the shared goal that you were working on with the empathy circles, this is the first time that Edwin has been, his energy is elsewhere running for Congress. And so now the production team was able to keep this efforts movement moving forward. And that this is showing that y'all are able to extend that culture, and it doesn't have to exist within one person. It can literally be a culture which is very diffuse. Hopefully many people embody it.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. I feel fully heard.
Thank you. So Leslie, will you be my listener?
I will.
Thank you. So I think quite a few things came alive for me as I was listening to Bill. So I'm a trained psychologist, and a lot of times people want to be the face of different theories and different topics.
I missed one word. You said people want to be, I didn't catch the word.
The face.
Oh, the face of, okay. Yeah, so as you've been listening to Bill, a lot of things are coming alive for you. And you're noting that as a trained psychologist, I'm not sure, you use the word people want to be the face of these theories.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being the spokesperson for your work. But I think what tends to happen is it can die out when that person dies out.
Okay. So yeah, it sounds like you're making a connection to what Bill was talking about in terms of your practice. The trouble with people being the face of their work is that when they're gone, so too may be the work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I really appreciate when individuals or entities are able to open up the opportunity for other people to take on that work and, of course, make it their own, but really spread it throughout the world instead of trying to hoard it in the safe house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you're speaking to a necessity really of people to open up their work and invite others in to help hold it and unfold it so that it just doesn't go by the wayside.
Yeah, and I will be the first to admit that this is super hard work, especially because you're the one who has to hold up the banner to say, this is something great that I want you to take on.
Mm-hmm. So recognizing that it's not an easy task to bring others into it and to inspire others to take it up, that it really is, something vital that they want to be a part of is not an easy thing.
Yeah. And something else that's came up for me, specifically to the idea of building that culture of empathy and the next steps for me, since I am a coach and a psychologist, I spend a lot of time empathizing. And so my challenge is finding that balance of not only being the listener or the giver and never receiving.
So being a coach as well as a psychologist, another thing that came up listening was that necessity of that experience, not just to be putting forth your energies, but also to be receiving support.
Yeah. And for me, it actually is more comforting to be in the giving space, but it almost feels disconnecting when I'm in that space.
So it sounds like maybe it's easier or more comfortable to be the one doing, like, putting out the energy, but realizing that even though it may not be as comfortable, it's as vital to be receiving.
Yeah, I think that's where true community comes in. That's why hearing safety or discussing safety this time around was so important, because I know for me, if there's lack of safety, I'm going to automatically go to that giving place. I'm not going to be vulnerable.
So this training, like just having safety be more to the fore, felt like really vital in terms of being able to like help you move to the receiving place and not just kind of auto redirect to giving if it's not feeling like a safe place.
Yeah. I think for me, if safety doesn't exist, I'm going to protect myself because I don't know that I can trust other people to do so.
So when a situation feels unsure in terms of your own personal safety, it feels like a sort of an automatic to go to the giving as opposed to the receiving.
Yeah. And I think one thing I really appreciate about this training in particular is how many training staff members were here, because I really do feel like there was a level of containment that we didn't have to stress about some of the aspects behind the scenes because we had so many people managing those pieces.
So that sense of being held and safety was really supported this training because there were so many people, like trainers or trainees, like facilitating the process.
Yeah, thank you. I feel fully heard.
Gabby, would you listen?
I'd be happy to.
Oh, you know what? What is alive for me is I just got a message that my computer is going to die. Please hold while I plug this in. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to take a pause and check in. Yeah, I think what's alive is on the most embodied level, like really simple things like rushing in here and joining late and, realizing like I'm thirsty, I haven't had much to drink today, I'm hungry, my son brought a sandwich to the door, but I'm thinking I'm on Zoom, so I can't really eat right now. I didn't really catch the bathroom break and I'm hoping we'll have a chance for a bio break. I'll pause.
So after putting your computing on charge, you took some time to be present and to notice some sensations on your body and also acknowledge some physical needs as drinking water, eating something, and going to the restroom that you haven't paid attention before.
Yes. And yeah, it feels like when I hear myself say it out loud, it feels Gabriel just sent a message. Okay, thank you. Yes, no, it feels absurd, you know, to be a grown adult and to be part of any forum and not, you know, yourself like know that, okay, I need to do this just to take care on the most basic level. That tension between you know, holding your part in a social circle of some kind, and just taking care of the most basic needs.
So it seems surprising to you how you are committed to the training and taking care of the shared place and not taking care of yourself and your physical needs. Yeah.
Yes. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, Gabby. I do feel heard, and I'm going to pause and take care of a couple of these needs right now. I will be back very shortly.
Okay, so now you're acknowledging the urgency of taking care of your physical needs, so you'll be present here again with us for the next round.
Thank you all.
Jen, would you be my listener?
Yes, love to.
Thank you. Yeah, listening to Leslie saying, acknowledging the importance of taking care of the physical needs, or yeah, I was like celebrating her, acknowledging her process of saying that's okay, taking a break.
Yeah, you're really happy that Leslie is going to take care of herself. And it feels like, yeah, celebrating.
Yeah, because it's a reminder for me and also for us. Yeah, acknowledge our body and the sensations and the needs that we have, besides the urgency of the work of the other people and taking care of ourselves, to be present.
Yeah, you're saying it's so important to be really taking care of ourselves and to listen to our bodies, so that we can attend to the circle. And my daughter's saying, yeah.
Hi.
That's Ava.
Hello. Hello.
She's asking for water. She can hear everything that's happening. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a pleasure. Yeah, and it also makes me think is because we have a safe space here. To your daughter coming, to Leslie to go to the restrooms, like I feel at home. Yeah.
Yeah, Leslie taking care of herself, and you seeing my daughter listening and taking care of herself, that it feels very safe and wonderful to be here.
Yes, and I celebrate and I feel grateful for being here and connecting with you and having this space. I feel enthusiastic. I feel alive. I feel grateful to you all. Yeah.
Yeah, you're celebrating and so grateful to be here and getting all this wonderful feelings from the group.
And also reinforces the importance of being authentic, taking care of ourselves and creating a safe space and talking what is important to me, so we can go underneath the surface of the sea and go and connect heart to heart.
Yeah. You're really feeling the oh gosh. You're just feeling the honoring. It feels like an honoring of presence, so that we can really speak heart to heart.
Yeah, and I say, that's it. we need to share it with more people.
Yeah, and you feel like this is it. We need to share. This is what we need to share with more people.
Yes, and more. And then now I'm thinking about doing an empathy circle with my parents, for example.
Yeah, and now you're getting ideas of next steps for yourself to maybe do an empathy circle with your parents.
Yeah, that is challenging doing with people that are close to me. And while I feel energized, while I'm here with you and hopeful to take these steps further.
Even though, yeah, you feel it would be challenging to do an empathy circle with people close to you, you're energized to do it and feel like it would be an amazing experience for you.
Yeah, so yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you, Jen. I feel fully heard.
Wonderful. Okay, and Lisa, would you be my listener, please?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, I'm so happy for our circle here. It feels really important and so nourishing.
So you're reflecting on the fact that you feel happy to be here in this circle, and it feels nourishing for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, there's so many things that are here to really feel into and talk about. But I want to talk about next steps for me, and I know that there's some things that I've been considering in terms of holding empathy circles, and it feels important but challenging.
So you're saying that there's many things alive for you right now, but you want to focus on the next steps, and you're thinking about facilitating some circles, but as much as it's exciting, it also feels a little bit challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So in particular, and I've mentioned this to Bill before, that in my workplace, we may, we want to do general empathy cafes, but then I'm thinking about holding circles for people of color or BIPOC people.
So in particular at your job, the facility wants to hold general empathy circles, but specifically you want to host one specifically for BIPOC individuals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not sure why it feels, well, yes, I know it feels difficult for me to actually hold that because of many reasons, but one being that I am a person of color, but also, grew up in a very white environment, white community, and I'm very comfortable with that, so.
So you're reflecting on at first not being certain of the reasons of the discomfort, and now acknowledging that you are a person of color, but maybe your experience is diverse in the fact that you have you grew up with mainly white people around you, and you're comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially coming out of the somatic training yesterday, I do know that BIPOC bodies, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and people of color bodies have a different have a certain experience of life, in white communities, and I just haven't really taken the time to pay attention to that, and so I've been paying attention to that more and more, and especially out of this training. And I think it's important, that I acknowledge and I honor the difficulty that I have had and that I've carried.
And so you're reflecting on the fact that the training, you're really sinking into the idea of, you know, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color have a certain experience that they go through being in the what's known as the majority population, and that you really want to feel into that experience for yourself so that you can really feel into the experience with the group that you'll be working with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If I'm going to do that. I mean, yeah, it's still a question, you know, it's like what, so at any rate, this is what I'm looking at and what I'm grappling with. And I feel it, you know, it's important to look at. And I do think that, you know, building a culture of empathy is going to be diverse because all bodies, no matter color of skin, have had their experience and have been subjected to things that also there's discomfort around, you know, that they might not even know about, you know. So I think that this inquiry into, you know, being a body in the world, no matter what, where you come from, no matter what color or race, we have our things. And so it's just, I feel that this space in particular is such a good place to really look into these things and have space to talk about it and think about it. And so the topics I feel are really important, you know, to come up with topics that could be potentially very, you know, activating for people, but that's kind of what we need, is like to be activated, to have our systems really awake to what is going on inside, but also what the external forces are or have been in the past, you know, that we're grappling with.
And so you find yourself reflecting on, am I going to actually do the circle? And then also everybody has their experience within their body because they are a body in society. And so really seeing the empathy circles as being a great platform in which to communicate and tap into those bodies.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. I feel heard, very heard.
So Bill, will you be my listener?
I'll be happy to.
We have time. I don't know what time we're finishing.
Yeah, we have time.
Okay. Wow. So today has been really a powerful experience, and in particular, hearing Jen share. I just am reflecting on my experience as being a BIPOC individual in, you know, traditional or majority society. And my resistance to a lot of times dealing with diversity because I don't want to be the poster child.
Mm. So you're really kind of connecting with what Jen said about being a BIPOC person in a predominantly or dominated white culture or larger culture. And sometimes you noticed that you had some resistance to diversity because you didn't want to be the quote unquote poster child.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love diversity and I love working with people from many different cultures. But sometimes I feel like it's almost like the categories of Black and white and all the different names, a way to separate versus bringing people together.
So you like diversity, really like it, and you enjoy it, and that sometimes, but however, various labels, ethnic, religious, or otherwise, kind of form barriers to communication or can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so now I find myself at this crossroads of really fitting in many spaces and being okay with having separation and togetherness.
Mm-hmm. So in reflection and, your greater experience, you like the diversity, you like it, but also it's okay to be separate. So in other words, you appreciated the aspects of both.
Yeah. And at first I didn't. At first I was like, we should all be treated exactly the same. And now I really can understand the reason why there's sometimes safety in having your own.
Right. So originally you felt that, everything should be sort of homogenized, everybody be treated the same. But now you've come to appreciate that sometimes, people who share certain characteristics, it's important for them to, be able to share those experiences.
Yeah. In particular, when George Floyd happened, I needed to retreat, not only into myself, but into my community, because the depth of the feeling, I didn't want to express it in an inappropriate manner.
Right. So when the murder of George Floyd occurred, that really affected you deeply, and you felt much more safe expressing it within the community because you didn't want to. Your emotions were so strong, you didn't want to, do something inappropriate that you might feel.
Yeah. And now I really am finding myself interested in where life is going to take me, in particular with empathy circles, but other projects that I've done, because I feel like the pot is starting to bubble, but I still haven't seen the full picture that's going to come out of it yet.
Right. So integrating these experiences has, caused, a sort of a reassessment, or maturity, whatever, an integration, I would say. And so you can see the beginning of all of those sort of dynamics coming together, but you haven't seen exactly where it's going to go. And you're kind of excited about, the possibilities.
Yeah. And I also can appreciate the business side of things where my time is important. And so there's this balance of everything of like, I do want to give back, but I also have to take care of my family's needs and survive.
Right. So in integrating everything that's occurring, you also have to be aware of the business side of things and taking care of you and your family as well as giving back to the society as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully heard. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, let's see. Gabby, would you listen to me? Okay. Well, for most of my life was poor, so I lived in a very diverse community, and I really appreciated it. I'll stop there.
So you were sharing with us that you grew up in a diverse community, that most of your life you didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, actually, as in childhood, we were well-to-do, but in my adulthood, most of my life in my adulthood, that was not the case. Yeah, I'll stop there.
So yeah, you want to distinguish that during your childhood, your parents did have some good financial situation, but in your adulthood, you might not have it.
No, didn't, definitely. And I've always I've really appreciated diversity and other cultures. And when I walk through like predominantly quote unquote white neighborhoods, I get bored. I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm. So it made your story and your background was also a stimulus for you to appreciate diverse cultures and neighborhoods. And when you looked at some, if I understood
Yeah.
If you can correct me, when you
Sure.
look at some more with people that have some more money that you have, you got bored.
Yeah, not money. Just that it was like a traditional white neighborhood where most people were white, and it just wasn't as stimulating. That's all.
So when you looked at some white neighborhood, it wasn't stimulated at all for you.
Right. And I love white people too. Some of my best friends are white.
And you want to let us know that you love white people. Some of your best friends are white.
Right. And I was thinking about what Jen was doing, and my feeling is that in some ways, like in my work, I had to treat each person as an individual. So, I don't want to use the cliche, I don't see color, but, not every African American is the same person. Not every, Latino or Latinx person is the same person. Not every white person is the same person. So I really had to delve into individuals and acknowledge the individual. I'll stop there.
So you were relating to what Jane just said, and then you were also saying that doing your work, you wouldn't look to people as separated from their color, right? Or people with color, you'd look beyond that. You'd treat them as humans, as individuals.
Right. No, and if they identified very strongly with whatever religion, for instance, or ethnic, I had to acknowledge that. I had, that was fine. But nevertheless, I had to see what does this individual, what's important to this particular individual to really understand them and help to make connection.
So if even the individual related strongly with a religion side or political or with their skin color, you'd connect with what was important to this individual from the heart beyond all the barriers or social structures.
Right. Yeah. And so, I don't know what I'm going to say here. I'm sort of like, I'm feeling something, but I don't know how to express it. Yeah. And what I found is if I really looked at that individual, and I've done this with peers as well. I was in a workshop with a woman, my time's about to be up, and she said, thanks for, listening and hearing Barbara, not me as a ethnicity or religion or even as my profession, but thanks for seeing me as Barbara. And then I'm done.
So you're getting some emotions started arising on you at the moment you're sharing about your background, your family, and your work, and you did not know how to express it. But what you would like to say is that Barbara was a person that thanked you for seeing her as she was beyond everything, and for
Thank
seeing
you.
her as an individual.
Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Thank you, Bill. Haven't spoken, Lisa. I know you just spoke. What can I go with you? I want to express my gratitude for Bill for sharing his story and a little bit about his background.
So you really want to take time to let that everything sink in for you. And in particular, you want to thank Bill for him expressing his experience and his story, his personal story.
I could see in his body and the emotions and how important it was to him. And yeah, I want to thanks him for allowing, for being vulnerable and showing himself and allowing this connection.
So you're saying that you noticed Bill's internal experience, external experience, and you really want to express appreciation for his vulnerability during this time.
Thanks, Bill. And yeah. Yeah, like how important it is for me also and for us as humans sharing sharing our stories, the vulnerable part of ourselves, even if it's not comfortable. It yeah, it allows connections.
So you're reflecting on the fact that really being vulnerable and authentic can really increase connections with each other.
Yeah, and I feel so present and so alive that I don't have much to say.
So you're reflecting on the fact that you feel really, in this moment, and so you don't, and so alive that you don't have much to add to what you had to say before.
Yeah, it's just like holding the space and silence without words and just acknowledging all the connection and the energy that flows between us all.
So you're speaking to the just the need for just holding that space and not necessarily having to place words on what we've experienced here today, but really feeling into it.
Yeah, that's it, Liz. I feel fully heard. I want to thank you all again.
So you're
And
saying you feel heard and you thank everyone.
yeah, I'm sending you a virtual hug to you all. Yeah, feel hugged.
A virtual hug for everyone. So I'm guessing I'm going again. All right, so Jen, would I be able to speak to you?
Yes, please.
I mean, I completely agree with Gabby that like the circles and all of the training, this training has been super deep, and this one in particular, I feel has also been in line with that.
Yeah, you're agreeing. Can everyone hear me with this? Okay, great. You're agreeing with Gabby about the richness of this circle, and you're feeling how especially potent and powerful this one is.
Yeah, and I just want to acknowledge like the vulnerability that everybody shared. Like for you sharing about, working with BIPOC individuals potentially, for Leslie sharing about, really needing to take care of herself, for Gabby sharing about being with her family, and for Bill sharing about his experience as a growing adult.
You are appreciating everybody's vulnerability here in this circle. For Leslie, talking about her needs, her bodily needs. For Gabby, talking about sharing about her parents. Bill sharing about his upbringing, and then me talking about working with BIPOC people potentially.
Yeah, like I really feel like there is a lack of appreciation for, and I would include this as service-based work, a lack of appreciation for that service-based work because we put our whole selves into it.
Yeah, you are reflecting on how you feel that service-based work lacks some appreciation.
Yeah.
And you include the Empathy Circle as a service-based place or practice.
Yeah, and even just the idea of being fully ourselves, I think, is a service because we're giving our gift into the world for someone else to take something from it.
Mm-hmm. You are also reflecting on how, you know, this in this empathy circle, we we can potentially bring all of ourselves here, our stories, and really share deeply of who we are. And that is something really special that people can actually take from and benefit from. And you see that as a really great service.
Yeah, and in particular, I was talking about what we do in the world. For me, it's hard to specifically focus on just Empathy Circle because empathy is something that is just innately a part of how I've existed in the world.
Oh, got it. Yeah, you're clarifying that you were referring to, you know, service-based work and what you do for a living, and how, yeah, it's. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that last part? How it's. Well, yeah, you said something about you just. Oh, empathy. You're not focusing on empathy circles because empathy is just innately how you are.
Yeah, and when I again say service based, I mean like all of us being authentically who we are, I see as a service in itself.
Yes, you see being authentically who we are as a service to others.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to also express appreciation for everybody being willing to share today, because I know we all have busy lives and have a lot going on, but it's such a powerful experience to come into community with each other.
Yeah, you're expressing appreciation to all of us for coming here and sharing of ourselves with, you know, how busy life is and so many things to do. But yeah, you're just really appreciating
Yeah,
us.
and so I don't have the words either, but I will say that there is the presence of a experience here for me as well.
Mm-hmm. You're honoring of the presence of being here, and the benefit it is to you, but you don't really feel you have the words to adequately express it.
Yeah. So with that, I'll say I feel completely heard. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Welcome. Okay. Leslie, would you listen for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Ah. I'm just taking a moment to check in with myself. I really, I also feel like words can't, I'm not finding the words at the moment to express my gratitude.
So just kind of feeling into yourself with breath and just dropping into yourself. You're noticing that you don't have words to describe the gratitude, but I did notice sort of something joyful kind of bubbled up in the midst of that, in your laughter.
Thank you so much for saying that, because that's exactly, I mean, I do feel so much joy. It feels like I feel the energy of it, and it feels like a relief to my system. Almost like I want to cry. It feels like such a relief.
So acknowledging and feeling the joy in you really reaches deeply and just brings tears even just at your relief to feel joy.
Yeah. The thing about, you know, being authentic and speaking from the heart is something that I feel in regular daily life, we don't get to have. And I think that's what Gabby was saying earlier in the conversation. Like, how do we have this? How do we cultivate this on a regular basis?
So you're connecting and joining with Gabby just in this, wondering about how do we have this experience of coming from our hearts and sharing, speaking from our hearts. Like how do we have that just as a regular part of our daily life?
Mm-hmm. And I'm understanding that it really just has to come from me. Like I am how it starts. Like each of us as individuals, that's how it starts, and we just be that way.
Yeah. So just sort of laughing at the simplicity, you're recognizing that it starts here. It just starts within ourselves to do that.
Yeah, and that is the embodiment. You know, that's the power of the embodiment. You know, and we get to allow whatever is authentically flowing through us to come out, whether it's with words or actions or body movements, body gestures, facial expressions.
Mm-hmm. And so you're just really recognizing the power of the embodiment, you know, as the means that these things come forth, like whether it's facial expression or, you know, sound or words or whatever it is, it's that embodiment that allows it to come forth.
Mm-hmm. And I'll connect that with what I was talking about earlier about the declaration, which could also be seen as a prayer or an intention, right? Like whatever it is that we're holding for ourselves and for the world, we can embody that in any moment or every moment that we choose.
So you're coming back around to what you shared earlier about your commitment, like the commitment that you are, and recognizing that like an intention or you know, it's something that we choose to embody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say that, you know, it's such a privilege to be at choice of when we show ourselves, you know, when we really are authentic. And, you know, I'll bring that to also bring in the piece that it's so important, you know, our safety is also a privilege. You know, like I'm being respectful of the fact that like not everybody has that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so you're sharing this significant awareness that being the choice point is a privilege that not everyone has, to be able to make choice, as is safety, like the experience of being safe.
Mm-hmm. And I know that's my time, but I want to speak that, you know, I feel it's my privilege and my responsibility to share, you know, to share as much as possible my authenticity so that it may free up or liberate others.
So sharing the sharing of your authenticity is both a privilege and a responsibility, and that doing that offers an opportunity for others to experience it and to move into their own authenticity if they choose.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I feel fully heard.
Mm-hmm. Bill, is there time? And you said.
Then we have about 1 minute, so I'm sorry, Lisa, because Leslie, sorry. Yeah, so just kind of ran out of time, but would have loved to hear more from you.
Okay. Can I share for a few seconds? Give me.
Yeah, go.
Okay. Will you listen, Bill?
I'll listen.
Okay. Yeah. No, one of the things that bubbled up back to like the question about going forth from here, listening to people, actually, I think it was Jen who said something about like maybe doing a general empathy cafe and then, you know, a empathy circle for a specific purpose, like just trying to find her way with that. And somehow it just sort of bubbled up. Like I wonder about co-facilitating circles with people, like going from here to do that. And the other piece I did want to mention is we're popping back in with the right time. But thank you.
Finish your thought.
Was just about like the parent and young person empathy circle was something my son and I did several trainings together, and just really curious to have conversation with people about that.
Right. So what I heard you say is that you were thinking about general empathy cafes, co-facilitating, and specifically you're thinking, parent, young person you've done. And so you're just looking at next steps as various types of circles that you might host. Did I get that right?
You did. And just the piece about like wondering if, about the possibilities of co-facilitating over Zoom with people who are in the training. On any number of topics. Yeah.
Right. So reach out. We love to co-facilitate. I include myself there too. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had as good a time as I did. Let's see here. Okay. So at this particular point in the training, at the beginning, we talked about the culture of empathy. And we talked about, some of you put your values down, what you think would be a value in a culture of empathy. The ones that we came up here are empathy, mutuality, openness, and care. So we believe that the empathy circle is practice is an excellent first step towards that goal. But if we practice it correctly, you should get a sense of how our core values are woven into this training. We'll ask you to reflect for a moment and then think of a design element. So for instance, the fact that we have equal time to speak speaks to mutuality. So something like that in the design of the empathy circle or the training itself, or something someone did on a buddy call, a training doesn't make a difference, participant, that exemplified those values. In other words, when did you see an example of care, mutuality, openness, or empathy? And so we're going to have about 15 minutes. Not everybody has to respond to this. And we'll take about, 5 people for 3 minutes each. If you speak for a shorter time, we'll have more people speak. So I'd like you to reflect on it. And then I'll put the question in the chat. And just when did you see someone or an example of those values reflected in the training? And so you can have some time to reflect. If anybody, has a response, then okay. And I see Sayantan. Thank you, Sayantan.
So I'm struggling to find the exact word for this value, but I realize that as part of the circle, do I need to identify an active listener? I'm so used to this format.
Oh, no, you don't have to. No, we're just sharing with general. Yeah.
I see. Thank you for clarifying, Bill. Like I was saying, I'm struggling to identify a name for this value, but I understand that listening is probably one of the most important things in the empathy circle. And with communications, I could particularly identify Dwayne constantly telling me to slow down in the initial circles. And okay, yeah. So he just held up the remember to pause, which was the iconic. And Gabby was also there. These were sessions also with Katie in another place where we also have empathy circles on Wednesdays. It's reconnecting to life. Gabby is probably the person to contact. So that really laid the emphasis for me that it's very important to be cognizant of language and to slow down, because we assume that English is a very universal language, but it's not the case. most of us don't know English as a first language, and we might not really care about English as much. We are just making the effort to communicate. So it really helps when speakers who have native first language English slow down, and that's something I've tried to bring to my facilitation. And it was actually mentioned in my facilitation today that really helped maintain the facilitation also, to maintain a slow and a calm voice, and to not either get too excited or fast, in which case it might get confusing for non-native speakers of English, and also probably not to completely pause for extended durations. I don't know whether it qualifies as mutuality, but it is a very important component in people being able to listen to me, as well as for me being able to listen to people who might consider English as their native language and who speak really fast or in accents that are unintelligible to me for at multiple points in time. So I just wanted to mention that, and thank you for listening to me. I hope I was slow enough for everybody to listen to me. I'm really trying for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sayantan. Daniel?
Well, I was thinking of sort of two of these values that sort of get mushed together for me: reflection and collaboration. And I'm thinking of two buddy calls I had. I won't embarrass them by mentioning their names, but by slowing down and giving space for actually thinking about what the other person's saying, it made it much easier to see that we had shared interests and that we have a basis for working together in the future. Shared interests in things like achieving local democracy and issues of public safety. So I don't think that if most of the time that we talk with people, we're talking too fast and not stopping to think, and that we don't notice the common interests that we have that could serve as a basis for really good collaboration. So same theme as Sayantan, slowing down makes a big difference.
Okay. And what I hear is care for the listener. Would that be a fair?
Yeah, that's part of the care. For me, the emotion side, the care and the empathy, that sort of comes along with it. That's a happy byproduct of all this.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. Dr. Lisa?
Yeah, so I would say that just this training in general, all of the qualities we're seeing, but I, again, repeat the main one for me, which came out with safety. And it was repeated in multiple groups. It really kind of just got deeper and deeper and deeper, even to this last one where I feel like we covered the topic, but we didn't specifically just focus on the topic. And it went to such a depth that was beautiful. And then everyone who I interacted with, whether it was on a buddy call or not, just maybe even seeing your face here, I really feel like we provided a space where there was a depth that came into this training, at least for myself. So yeah, safety is my word that I feel like really showed up for me this time.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Lisa. And I'm going to call on Gabby, and I'm in speaker view. So if you can use with if you want to speak, the reactions and raise your hand, I'll be able to see you. If you're raising it, I can't see the whole group. Just want to let you know. Gabby, please go ahead.
Okay, I have so many things to say. I don't know from where to start. So I want to say, when Dwayne reached me out on the private, he say like, I want to learn from you and things like that. He showed me very open and care, and we became great friends. So I just want to appreciate in front of all the group, because and yeah, I want to say thank you to you. I don't have, I know when I say it to you when we have our calls, I just want to appreciate you in front of the group. And I feel so connected to you all that I had the opportunity to have the body call, or either to be in a group of the Empathy Circle. I just want to show my appreciation and say you all how thankful and grateful I am to be here and to get to know more about each one of you, Katie and Sayatan. Jen, you've been participating. We have Lisa, and I feel so close to you already. I don't know how. And Bill, after our call today, Larry, Leslie, and like all Isa. Oh my God! I did the people that I had opportunity to have a call. I feel at home, and I feel I can be myself over here. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. So creating this safe space and being open, caring for each one of us. I feel so anxious because I have so much energy and thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Gabby. It's great having you here. Joyce.
I think back to the first empathy circle I ever went to and how moved I was by that circle. And then the experiences that I've had here and listening to Gabby just now reinforced for me, a key word that makes these work, and I don't know why it happens every time, but it does, it opens what I call vulnerability. And I'm willing to be vulnerable, and I sense that the other people in the circles become willing to be vulnerable. And for me, that is kind of a key as to, I mean, Gabby mentioned safety, and I think that relates to vulnerability, but something about the empathy circle opens that up in us, and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable.
Great, yeah, and that relates to openness too, and okay, and I don't see any other reaction. Is there anyone else? We have just a few minutes who wanted to speak on this. Just under reactions, raise your hand. Let's see, I'll try to, looks like everybody is well satisfied. Okay, great. So now I'm going to turn it over to Dwayne, and he'll introduce our second question. Thank you.
All right. For this particular segment, we're going to have about 20 minutes. And the question is, what did you like about the training? What are some of the business benefits that you've experienced in the training, et cetera? And what will you be doing next? What are your next steps with empathy circles or the empathy practice? And so everyone's going to have about a minute. I'm posting the question in the chat now. And if there are any volunteers who'd like to go first? Otherwise, I will just go around the circle. Mike, your hand is up. Would you like to go first? Oh, you're muted, Mike.
Okay. Yeah, I am going to have an empathy circle in the spiritual group I've been involved with for 50 years. And that's going to be on the a Sunday meeting on June 19th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I do have, like, Linda Bass and Dwayne have both indicated that they would be willing to facilitate, I believe. And so I may need a couple more facilitators for that event as well. And I can maybe put my email in the chat box for anybody that might be willing to, expose this very spiritual group to this really neat, cool process. Okay, that's about it for me.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone else, or I'll just start going around? Leslie, would you like to go next?
Yes. Oh, I'm unmuted. Okay. I think, like others have said, it's the people who come to each of these trainings that just brings themselves and so many new facets understanding and I guess ideas for how to go forward with it. At the tail end of the circle, I started wondering about, co-facilitating with people. I've in past have done, some local circles just facilitating myself, but I feel like co-facilitating would lend so much. One of my interests is in bridging divides, and so I wonder about facilitating with people who maybe have a different orientation or a different perspective, and being able to hold a group from multiple places like that. And yeah, I think still just really absorbing a lot from this last group that I was a part of, and just very appreciative to everyone for sharing who they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Marley, would you like to go next?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, feeling appreciative for this training and the opportunity to meet so many awesome people, especially from around the world. I was like a little surprised and pleased to see so many international folks joining us. And yeah, I thought I would be using this this model like kind of to go forward like in my job and the work that I do, but I will no longer be doing that work. My program was just closed. I was talking about that in my group. Thank you, group, for listening. So figuring out now where like empathy circles will land in my life, and a little unclear, but just, time of transition. So that's me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marley. Marisa, would you like to go next?
Sure. And I'm not like fully landed on a thought, but I'll share you all with my process on where I'm at with this question of what will I be doing next with empathy circles? Because I thought I went into it with the goal of, bringing this as a tool to open up more conversations in my community, in my family, in, other relational spaces. And that may still be the case. I'm going to think on that for a while. But now what I'm realizing is that, there's something else that's just for me that comes out of being in a space where folks are already committed to these principles. So not as a way to introduce people necessarily or convince people that these are necessary practices for us in our lives, but to join in spaces where folks are already have already made space and time in their lives to engage in these practices. And so how much of this would I be doing for others versus in what ways do I use empathy circles as a way for me to expand into places that already feel that they can be relational in the ways that I need.
Thank you, Marisa. Katie, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure. So as I just mentioned in the breakout rooms, I'm really mostly interested in using empathy circles to build community. And I've been interested in or more aware of the idea of loneliness in young adults. And I'm interested in how empathy circles might be used in that space to build up community, and also to provide a space where people can talk about things that they maybe are too scared or are not able to talk about in real life. Providing that safe space for people to really share maybe some of their scarier or deeper thoughts. Yeah, those are my thoughts on that.
Thank you, Katie. Jen, would you like to go next?
Sure. Well, I love this training. This is the second time that I've taken it, and I really feel like my ability to really relate to myself and relate with others at the same time has expanded and deepened. And so, yeah, I feel so grateful, so very grateful to all of you. I do wish that I had a chance to be in a group with each of you. I didn't get to really meet all of you. So, yeah, I'm glad that we're on an email list together, and maybe we can, we can stay in contact that way. I'm seeing opportunities for co-facilitation and joining people's circles that they're a part of, and that's a great relief to me to continue to do this practice. And hopefully professionally I'll be able to bring it in. Not professionally, I say professionally because I think of my work, but actually my work is quite personal. It's all about embodiment and transformation and being healthy and well, and so yeah, that's all very personal, but I will bring it into my work. That's my intention. And just how I'm going to do that, I still am not sure, but I'll be working on that. But thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jen. John, would you like to go next?
Sure. I am very grateful for all the connections I made with so many different little squares in this wall of people. A lot of big hearts and openness to connecting. And I wanted to comment a little bit on how the training went, or how it was facilitated, because Bill told us today this is the first time without Edwin, and I wanted to name that I thought it went. I really liked how there was a lot of leadership, and it was shared, and you guys passed it around. I like how the meetings start on time and end on time, and it never feels like we're out of. We get to everything. So kudos to all of you for doing it well, and I want to also say that having so many volunteers come back to give their expertise and go through this for a new class is a real testament to the value that I expect to get from it. So I think it's no small thing that I recognize that people are giving up their time because as it's come up in some smaller group section that it's beneficial just doing it. Even it's not like a labor of love where it's all going one way. The benefit is in the practice, and that's where I think I look forward to seeing how to implement that in my post facilitator training life. Is seeing it as a practice that has inherent benefits itself for me, as well as anyone else that is able to experience as a result of whatever I'm doing. So thank you all, and very grateful for this cohort and all the people in it.
Thank you, John. Turia, would you like to go next?
Sure. I say my overarching experience is inspiration from each of the people who are already trained as facilitators, and for the others who are coming here with open hearts and minds to learn this. I would second if I could be as articulate as I heard John, I would second everything he said in his appreciation of the training and how you guys organized it. Also, needs met for safety and security, I'd say. And taking something, and my definition of elegance is the complex made simple. And I think that you guys all together made an elegant training. My life is really full, and I wondered about that when I signed up for this training. So I'm aware that I didn't have 100% of myself to give to it, but I got so much out of it, and I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. I may just come back here in the future and do it again. I love the idea of bringing it to kids in schools, that kids could actually do this for each other. It just would be so meaningful to me. So I might be looking to you guys for support for that, or I'll just be back next time. So I'm assuming that we'll all be on a list and keep getting information about subsequent trainings. So maybe somebody could verify that at some time for me. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julia. And yes, we all will be on the mailing list and receive regular communication. So thank you. Daniel, would you like to go next?
Yeah, okay. Well, we got lots of thoughts, but one thing that this training has really reminded me of and deepened for me is that serious talk is work. People are always complaining that, oh, it's just talk. We need to have action. But I think this kind of talk is action, because you're establishing, first of all, you're coming up with new ideas and making connections with people that you wouldn't otherwise make. What I'm hoping to do with this, I started planning. I haven't actually done it yet. I'm planning a series of local empathy circles, which I'm not calling empathy circles, on a local issue here in Chicago, which is violence. The threat, problem of increased violence in the streets. And we have people with different opinions. We can sort of divide those who sort of take a view of sympathy towards the police versus those who take the police as enemy. And those two different camps don't talk with each other. And I'm taking as my challenge to bring them together with the help of this method. That once you start slowing down and listening to people, then other people's opinions don't seem so crazy anymore. And don't be surprised if I get in touch with you. I'm hoping to get some co-facilitators. I have some people in mind. So I'm hoping it'll be a series of these. I have a few volunteers, enough for about 3 sessions now.
Thank you, Daniel. Dr. Lisa, would you like to go next?
Yes, thank you. So my favorite part of the training was the willingness everybody showed of like sharing, whether it was in the circles, which were really, I feel like they were very deep to have multiple people in that space. But in particular, the one-on-ones, even for the people who weren't necessarily my buddy, but we still connected, I really feel like that is where I really can show myself a little bit more, because I am introverted and I do tend to like retreat, even though maybe y'all couldn't tell this time around because I was all in there, right? But I really do feel like that is a space where I can go to some depth with people. And so I think that that was a really beautiful experience for me personally, and looking forward to keeping a lot of those relationships going. And then as far as what's next for me, I think that that is going to be an evolving process. As my group heard this time around, I've had a lot of coals in the fire, and so I feel like they're burbling. They're gonna turn into something, but that will still remains to be seen. And then I feel like maybe some of the relationships I built here may turn into something as well. Like Tanya, and I see she's going to be doing some big things, and hopefully I can kind of give a little seasoning over there, and I feel like a lot of different people are doing some wonderful things. And so I feel like we're going to be kind of feeding into each other. And so hopefully there's going to be a culture of empathy sprouting up out in many different ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lisa. And Dr. Lisa, as an introvert, is something that I will think about and get back to you. Sayantan, would you like to go next? The other introvert in the group.
I need to think some more. I'm just listening right now.
Let's see. No, I think that's it. Oh, Gabby, would you like to go?
Yeah. So next steps, I might reach out to some of you also, and looking forward for some calls that I take Lisa's word as mine. A lot of things are bubbling, so yeah, I'm continuing co-hosting the circles with Wayne and Katie, and if you feel like also participating or facilitating, reach me out or yeah. And I'm also speaking with some people here in Italy how I bring the circle in Italian. So for now, I don't have any answer. I still don't have any idea, but I know at some point, someday, something will happen. That's it.
Thank you, Gabby. Sayantan, would you like to go? You're the only one that hasn't gone yet.
Thank you, Dwayne. I could collect my thoughts and I will try to again practice speaking slowly before you show me that card. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 1 minute is not a long time, but I really like the part about naming this training a cohort. I like that word, and I think it ties in with how many people were reflecting on this community continuing beyond the training, and that's something that I really like about the training and how it transforms people into a community. And I think cultures generally exist once communities are built. If you don't have a community, the culture can't be built. So this community that exists is probably crucial to building the culture going forward. In my case, I will probably be thinking along the lines of what Celine had mentioned about the Spanish uh, empathy circle, and I would probably want to think about how I name it. And so there are many languages where I am. I speak around 5 or 6 languages. So Hindi, Bengali, Urdu, Odia, Assamese. It's a pretty diverse place. So I would probably need to think about names and concepts that mirror empathy in the local culture to go forward. So that's like my takeaway. I think I went over 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I am grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you, Sayantan. And now, for any of the trainees or trainers, I put the question in the chat for you. Is there anyone that would like to start it off, or I'll be happy to go around the room again. Tanya, you're on the edge of your seat. Would you like to go first?
I just feel really nauseous, that's all. But I really like this experience, like doing all the behind the scenes work and seeing how it's all put together and just.
Excuse me, could you turn your volume up a little bit, please?
Y'all can't hear me? This has been acting funny all day. Can y'all hear me better now? No, it went out.
No, we can hear you. It's a little bit.
Okay. Oh boy. But I said, yeah, I really enjoyed this experience, like seeing all the behind the scenes stuff and being a part of that, but also watching the participants in their growth and how invested they are. Like, I mean, they were so invested in this process, and it was so evident how they were just taking in the information because it was showing up each week. So yeah, I really enjoyed the whole entire thing.
Thank you. Larry, would you like to go next?
Yes, thank you, Dwayne. I just want to say that I love this empathy circle. And for me, what it really develops in each of us is very unique and very mutual at the same time. It's self-empathy. Until we really develop our own self-empathy, there's not really a possibility for empathy with everyone. So it really is an empathy circle, and we're all included equally. I thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Anne, would you like to go next?
Yeah. I think for me, yeah, seeing people develop and growing in confidence, and the quality of the people coming along to do this training is astounding. And so it's just a very lovely experience to be able to interact with people and you know, have to take a couple of steps along their journey with them. And I value it. I look forward to seeing some of you again and the next cohort.
Thank you, Anne. Isa, would you like to go next?
So for me, yes, so for me, I noticed I had a very good experience in the sense, even when challenges happened, I could still be creative and still get support from everyone, communicating what was happening moment to moment. So it feels very good to know that I could look at a screen and be seen and be heard. And that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Isa. Bill, would you like to go next?
Sure. Well, I hope to be part of this. I really like the production team and everybody here. I hope to see everybody, or, you know, as life allows, so we put on more production and more cohorts to spread this. I know Taria talked about empathy in schools. That's a big deal of mine. I have a Thursday session, but you can cut my emails there and you can contact me because not only do I have, you know, I have strategies in order to adapt to the school environment. And just think about how many shootings we've heard about in the past week. And yet I think that this should be on the news, what we're doing here. And personally, when I compare that with what's going on here, I'm betting on all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will go next. I want to begin by saying thank you to everyone. I really enjoyed being a part of the production team. I really enjoyed interacting with the facilitation training process and the people who are a part of this facilitation training. And I felt like over the last 5 weeks, we really built a sense of community, and to touch on Gabby's thing, a sense of belonging. And I really like the feeling that I have when I'm sharing time with you all in this group. And I mentioned in the smaller group that there's a healing effect for me that being a part of this process, you know, living with chronic pain and everything, this is one of the spaces where I'm pain-free. And so, you know, I just want to say, thank you to you all. And I look forward to learning more about, I enjoyed getting to know the people that I did. And I'm also looking forward to the opportunity to learning more about the people that I didn't have a chance to have a conversation with. And again, thank you. And Celine is gonna be our next person to go. And then I'm also turning it over to Celine for the following segment. So thank you.
So I really enjoy my role as trainer and as facilitator, and I've learned so much from each of you and creative ways that, for example, today that we dealt with internet connection challenges in a way that I thought was very creative and actually brought us closer. So learning all the time. And I'm going to review what we did today and finish up. Today we had empathy circles where we harvested feedback about the benefits of the trainings and our intentions for using what we've learned and what we're hoping to do in terms of future empathy circles and future culture of empathy. So here are some requests. One is to fill out the feedback form, and it's in the chat. The link is in the chat. We really learn a lot from these and appreciate everything that you say. And there will be a final empathy buddy call, and so you can look forward to that. Also, if you want to, you can donate to the empathycircles.com or cultureofempathy.com to help keep this alive and moving forward. And now, if you would put a feeling word in the chat, we will have a running list of how you feel in this moment. So I see peace and awed and satisfied, thankful, energized, anticipation, moved, grateful, happy and somber, tranquility, grateful, expanded, reflective, inspired, connected, satisfied and optimistic, eager, more inspiration. And I'm enjoying this. It's feels kind of like some kind of weird hug. And now we finish up with our jazz hands and hope to see you again soon. So here we go. Thank you. Understood. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.
Joyce, you're muted. You look like you're having.
I meant to be because I'm talking to my sister.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay, take care. See you
Take
soon.
care.
I have a question. Like when I click on save chat, does the chat get saved automatically, or like how do I know where it's saved?
So click on the three dots and then click on save chat.
I did that.
Yeah, and then it should be show and finder. Do you see that?
Yeah, it'll say show and folder.
It's
a
in
Zoom
the
folder
chat.
that-
It's in the chat. Once you see.
Are you on a Macintosh or a PC?
A PC.
I just have to find out.
It'll
Yeah,
be
it
in
gets
documents
saved into
folder
a folder,
under
a Zoom
Zoom.
folder automatically.
It's automatically
May
under
never find it.
save automatically.
If we close this meeting, will we lose that evaluation form?
Yes. Click on it now, please.
Oh. Okay.
It's the feedback form, right? Or is there an evaluation form that is different?
Feedback form, I guess it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can send it here again. I can see it. I'll just type it again.
Oh, that'd be great.
You'll find it at the bottom, Josh. Did you see it?
I have it in front of me now. I'm just afraid to close the meeting because it'll go away.
It's at the bottom. You can click it now.
If you click on it, then you'll have it in your browser.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Sai. It's still okay to call you Sai? That means holy, right?
Yeah. This name actually, so if you add inflections in Sanskrit, the meaning can change. So Sayantan is actually evening. Evening or courage.
Okay.
It's actually
Okay, I can't find the documents, but I'll probably mail you guys in case I can't find the chat. Like, I'm sure some of you guys must have saved it. So thank you. Hope to talk to you soon. And Anne, are you there? Yeah, hope to catch up with you soon.
So you're
Definitely.
emailing.
Thanks, Anjan.
When are you coming back to network connectivity? Like main network connectivity, internet, like city?
And end of the week.
Okay, I'll drop you a mail. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Best luck.
Okay.
So you emailed us the feedback form, right?
I emailed it to you just now.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks, Joyce. Okay. All right, Altonia, you're doing the post session?
We're gonna take a 4-minute bio break.
Right, okay.
Yay, Bill.
Hey, Celine.
We did it.
We did it.
Almost complete.
Yeah, no, really great. Did you get my email?
Which one? Yes, I did.
You did, okay. So I have to check to make sure that maybe I have some emails wrong or something like that.
No, I got it.
Okay. Did you get it once
Another
or twice?
I got it twice. I got one and then I got one that you sent when Edwin didn't get it.
Yeah, okay, I give up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what to do.
Been holding it together long enough.
This is great. I'm just so happy. It's just great. So where are you going to go on vacation? You can have some vacation?
Yes, I am definitely not signing up for anything for a little while.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You going to do anything special?
I usually go camping. I've been going camping by myself for over 50 years, if you can believe it. Every year it gets scarier and harder because I go by myself into the mountains. So
right.
I'm going to hopefully do that again. Visit
Mm-hmm.
my kids. Not going to Monterey Bay, though. I'll leave that to you, you lucky ducky.
Oh, well, anytime you come down here, you know, I'll take you out or take you in a kayak or get you somewhere. But
Yeah.
I'll get you into nature.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's near you. I remember I went to Cougar Reservoir outside of Eugene.
Oh, I haven't been there.
And there's a natural hot spring there.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, we have those.
I'm getting jealous. I'd just hop over the Atlantic and join you there, Bill.
You are welcome. We have plenty of extra bedrooms. We have,
Wow.
yeah, and lots of nature.
Your pictures always look so amazing.
Oh,
Your
thanks.
photos.
Yeah, I put them in there because when I take them, I'm so full of joy, and that's what it's sort of I wanted to.
Yeah.
Comes across.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I want to know where you are, Anne. You're camping right now. Are you part of an action or something, or?
Well, it's a small festival, and at the I'm here because at the festival I'm supporting that we're for the first time here. There's a speakers forum, so we've organized various different activists to come and speak. And then there's also like a campaign space. So lots of different movements or activists functioning in different areas have come together and having workshops together. So that's happening as part of a festival. And I'm supporting the person running it who, yeah. And it's partly in honor of the woman who owns this land, and she died last year, but she supported this festival to happen for over 20 years, and she's one of the founding members, I think, of the Green Party.
Oh, thank you. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Lively, confluence.
Yeah.